Hello, thank you for tuning into my channel. We're working the half square triangle today. So if you want to know how to use squares like these to create a block like this, please stay tuned. I'm so excited about this chevron quilt that I am making. Let me show you the design. I've already started by making the blocks for my son's name, and I'm going to put a picture of that here. The blocks are already done, and now it's time for me to start cutting the strips for my fabric. I'm going to start by cutting the binding fabric, and then I'll cut the strips for the squares for these half square triangles. And what I've done is I've just lined up 3 of these, and it doesn't matter, I could have done them all red, but I just chose to alternate colors. And I just lined them up. I picked lines along my ruler to line the fabric up with, and so that way I can do 3 lines at once instead of 1. So the first thing I'm going to do, as always, is square it off. And so I'm just going to take my ruler, put it near the edge, make sure it's all squared up, and I may just do the bottom edge right here. Okay, and then use this the rectangular ruler, move the square ruler away, and then give it a nice cut. And that squares off all 3 lengths. And I could do this by stacking as well. I may try that with the next group. And all of these are going to be 4 7/8 inches. So again, I'm just lining it up with the bottom since everything else is all even. Line up with the bottom. 4 7/8. And then I'm going to move these away and go to the next line. Making sure that it's even all the way up to the top. And then giving it one nice cut through all 3 of them. And I'm going to do that all the way down the length of these pieces, and then I'll put some more pieces up. Next, we'll start making our triangle. Let's turn these into triangles. For the first step, I'm going to sew 2 seams into this square, and I've already started with the first one. And the seams are going to be on each side of the center diagonal. Okay, so you can see I already have one side done. Let me move it over. Okay, so I'm going to do one more and then show you how to join these together. I'm going to start by just placing the tip of the corner right at the 1/4 inch mark. Okay, so that the first seam is on the right side, and then I'm just going to sew straight down. Okay. And I have some paper marked on my sewing machine so that when I get to the edge, I can keep it lined up. Okay, so I have 5 of these done. I really have about 100 and something, well, about 60 something more to sew because I need 135 triangles. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to, instead of just cutting this off, I'm going to just go ahead and do the second stitch. So I'm going to place the point on the other side of the needle so that I can get the stitch that's on the other side of the fabric. Okay, and once again I have my center mark so that I can line up my point at the end. And I'm going to chain piece this all the way down for all 5, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. So I've done all of the both of the stitch lines on my squares, and I'm going to cut it off of the machine now. But since I chain pieced it and kept it chained, you can tell that it's just one big circle. There, everything is joined together. So our next step is going to be to cut in between these seam lines to get our blocks. Try to cut through these and keep the triangles chained together. So we're going to see how that works out. I'll start with these top 2, and I'm just going to line my ruler up kind of in the center. It looks like I'm just going to do one at a time. So I'll do the top one first. Okay, and then I'll do the next one. And then I'm going to keep going down the line. You can see now that now you have starts of 2 chains. And so I'll do the same thing for these 3, and then it'll be time to go to the ironing board. Alright, it's time to press. So the first thing that we do is we'll start with the dark side up, because we're going to be pressing the seam allowances toward the dark side. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to hold the iron down. Since these the diagonals have those, they're on the bias and they're stretchy, we definitely don't want to move it around if we don't have to, so that it doesn't stretch out anymore. And so you just press down on the ironing board and let that heat and that pressure set the seam. And then we're going to gently open up each triangle, or each triangle to get our block. And then again, we're going to just press it down to get it nice and firm. Alright, and I have 2 more. I'll do these quickly. And you really want to take time and get a good press on your seams so that they lay flat in your quilt. Now for the final step, I've cut each one of these apart, and so the last thing is to get these little extra pieces of fabric and cut them away, because they can create a lot of extra bulk when you're quilting. So now I have a nice finished edge on each one of those. Okay, so you can see how good that turned out and how awesome it's going to look in our quilt. If you have any questions, please comment below, thumbs up the video, and subscribe. Bye!